I honestly didn't see this coming. Hugo straight up admitted that he feels like his life is pushed to the absolute limit. From those weirdly oversized shoes to that hollow, haunted look in his eyes, is he headed for the same tragic fate as Yu Menglong? But what's even more gut-wrenching is the news about Yu Menglong's mother, who's been missing for so long. Word on the street is she's been locked away in a psych ward, head-shaved, bald, forced to eat stinking, spoiled rice, and her name completely erased. She's nothing more than a number now, patient 615. From big shot CEOs boldly tugging at Yang Mi's skirt in broad daylight, to silent cries for help from A-list stars, this isn't just some celebrity gossip. This is the sheer arrogance of those in power, heartlessly trampling over human dignity. Hi guys, Sean here, and welcome back. How have you been? I hope you're all doing well, because today's topic is a heavy one, and it's something we honestly can't afford to ignore. Today, we're going to expose the dark web that's slowly swallowing the very essence of humanity in the industry. Buckle up, because you never know how deep this hole goes. Recently, netizens dug up an old video of Hugo that's gone viral again. In it, he mentions that he's entered a life countdown phase. This statement immediately reignited waves of anxiety and concern among his fans.
所以对我来说意味着什么啊？那我觉得的确就是倒计时，倒计时可以是很漫长嘛，就是我得做准备。其实人生最重要的功课就是要准备和面对死亡。我觉得是一种。
我马上离开这个世界的话，我觉得我要表达我的感谢。我要感谢阳光，感谢空气，感谢这个大自然的一切。
And it doesn't stop there. Netizens spotted some seriously bizarre details, specifically his shoes. Hugo was seen wearing shoes that were way too big, making his gait look incredibly awkward. Many suspect this was a deliberate move to hide something, maybe an electronic ankle monitor or a GPS tracker. The rabbit hole goes even deeper. Some people literally went over the footage with a magnifying glass and noticed that Hugo's molars seemed to be missing. In one frame, he even made a gesture that looked like a desperate signal for help. When fans looked back at old recordings of him at events, everyone realized the look in his eyes had completely shifted. It wasn't just exhaustion, it was a hollow, terrified stare. Surrounded by staff, instead of greeting fans, he was looking around nervously as if he were constantly looking over his shoulder. There's also a clip floating around where Hugo says, half-jokingly, "If I hadn't switched career paths when I did, I might not even be alive today." All these red flags have fueled intense speculation online. People are terrified that Hugo might end up as the second Yu Ming Long. So, what do you guys think? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Hugo's situation is being blown out of proportion, or is he actually in grave danger? But hold that thought, because what I'm about to share next might just push you over the edge. Ever since Yu Ming Long passed away, everyone has been keeping a close eye on his mother's situation. A few months ago, she completely went off the grid, and there were even rumors that she had been shipped abroad. But recently, some truly shocking news has surfaced. There's this woman named Chen Zhen who was previously held in a psychiatric hospital. She shared that in there, nobody is called by their name, everyone is just a code number. In her room alone, dozens of people were locked up. One of them was a woman known only as Patient 615. When she first arrived, 615 had long hair, a sharp nose, and large, striking eyes. But after only 3 or 4 days, they forcibly shaved her head completely bald. To make matters even worse, 615 was barely ever fed. Sometimes 2 or 3 days would go by before she'd get a tiny bit of food. And even then, her meals were different from the other patients. The food had this pungent, bizarre smell, even from a distance. you could catch the stench of rotten, sour, spoiled rice wafting through the air. On a daily basis, 615 seemed to have completely lost her mind one moment. She'd be crying hysterically, but not long after, she'd suddenly start laughing to herself. But the weirdest part? Whenever someone called out 615, she would jerk awake like she'd just been electrocuted. She'd stand straight up and suddenly look completely lucid. As soon as she stood, a few people would rush in and drag her away by force. And every single time she came back to the room, she was completely out of her mind again. The netizens sharing this info also mentioned that it suddenly clicked that June 15th is actually Yu Menglong's birthday. That's when the suspicion started creeping in. What if the code 615 is a direct reference to his mother? Eventually, someone managed to show a photo of Yu Menglong's mom to the eyewitness. After staring at it for a long time, the witness confirmed it. The woman in that photo was definitely the same person.
是他吗？然后就看说，哎，是他吗？我瞅瞅，哎，有点像，哎，你要别说，还真有点像，哎，这大眼睛，这头发，有点像，哎，应该是，哎，就是他，就是他，应该没有错的，应该就是他，没错，剃成秃头应该也是他，就是他。陈真媳妇确定了，就是他。
While we obviously need stronger evidence, when you look at their track record, especially how the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, silences anyone involved in controversial cases and their families. Many people are starting to believe this rumor could actually be true. Basically, they act like there's absolutely no limit to how cruel they can be. Why would a figure as big as Hugo feel so much fear? Why did Yu Menglong die in such a bizarre and questionable way? And why has his mother ended up in such a heartbreaking condition? All of this seems to be pointing toward the same dark place. The answer is simple. In the eyes of those holding the purse strings, these stars are nothing more than commodities they can toy with however they want. They don't view these artists as human beings at all. A few days ago, Weibo Night 2026 was held in Beijing. The event is supposed to be this massive showcase of luxury where everyone looks stunning and sparkles. But during the group photo session right after the awards were given out, a moment happened that absolutely sent shockwaves through the public. The chairman of the board of Sina Group, Chao Guowei, went up on stage to hand bouquets of flowers to Xiaozhan and Yang Mi for a group photo. Chao Guowei intended to arrange the positions so that Yang Mi would stand in the middle while he took the spot on her left. The problem was, Yang Mi was wearing a massive ballroom gown at the time. As a result, Chao Guowei got blocked by the train of Yang Mi's dress. Now, take a wild guess what this billionaire big shot did. Without a hint of guilt, he straight up lifted his leg and kicked the train of Yang Mi's dress multiple times. In that exact moment, Yang Mi just froze, completely unable to move, only raising her hands in a pleading gesture for the boss to stand in the middle. The atmosphere became incredibly stiff and awkward. Finally, Xiaozhan, who was standing right there, couldn't bear to watch it anymore. He stepped in directly to try and diffuse the tension. Netizens are absolutely spot on. If anyone else had kicked her dress that harshly, Yang Mi probably would have lost it right there on the spot. But the problem is, the culprit was the big boss. This is the reality. In front of the camera, you might be a queen or an A-list star, but in the eyes of the power brokers, you're just an obstacle that can be kicked aside whenever they feel like it. There's absolutely zero courtesy or respect. This kind of arrogance is just deeply ingrained. For them, as long as they're the ones who made you famous, it means they have full rights to treat you however they want. Whether it's just kicking your dress or controlling Yu Menglong's life for 12 years, like the rumors say, the logic is still exactly the same. Hey everyone, before we dive into the video, we want to announce that we're launching a brand new segment called Trace Your Story. For this segment, you can send us a real-life story you've experienced, from horror and cheating to crime or any other true story you have. Send us your story at Sean Virell, traceyourstory@gmail.com, using this format. Email subject, Trace your story. Story title, your title here. Tell us your experience in as much detail as possible. Feel free to include any supporting photos or evidence if you have them. Optional contact, your WhatsApp number or another way we can reach you for more information. Don't worry, you can absolutely send your story anonymously if you prefer. We'll do our best to create a video and tell your experience. I'm really looking forward to your emails, and who knows, your story might be the very first one featured on Trace Your Story. Don't forget to submit your stories. I'll be waiting and can't wait to read them. We already talked about the control exerted by these power brokers. Now, let's look at the other side of it. If the rebels like Yu Menglong end up with tragic fates, what about those who comply, or those who had insider connections from the very start? Let's break down a case that's been all over the news lately. Shen Jiarun, also known as the daughter of comedian Xiao Shenyang. The sudden rise of this Nepo baby in 2025 is a textbook example of just how broken the Chinese entertainment ecosystem has become. Get this, she only debuted in Korea in June of last year, but it didn't take long for her to rush back home to cash in. In less than a year since her debut, she's already popping up on all the major shows. In fact, during this year's Lunar New Year season, the promotional song for Jackie Chan's latest movie was actually sung by her in a direct duet with Jackie Chan himself. But what about her actual talent? During last night's New Year's Eve gala, when she duetted with Mao Buyi, she was completely off-key and singing out of tune. As a result, she's been getting absolutely roasted and has become a total laughingstock among netizens. Even though the entire internet is tearing her apart, saying she's unworthy, and even though her reputation is completely trashed in the eyes of the public, she still lands high-end brand deals. She's still standing right next to a heavyweight like Jackie Chan. This is the game these power brokers love the most. They don't care about what the public actually wants to watch, and they don't care about talent. They just want to flex their muscle, to show they have the power to skyrocket the most mediocre person straight to the top, while at the same time, having the power to stomp talented people who dare to oppose them right down into the mud. It even happens at prestigious events like the Hong Kong Film Awards. Someone of Fan Bingbing's caliber, a former A-list star who just won Best Actress at the Golden Horse Awards for the film Mother Earth, can have her eligibility revoked just like that. Even when asked for the reason, the committee representative could only mutter, "We couldn't find a reason that would satisfy everyone." Let's be real here. The rules of the game are made by those with power and money, and the winners list, yeah, they write that too. After looking at all of this, at the end of the day, we have to come back to Yu Menglong. He is the most tragic victim of all these behind-the-scenes scandals, and he's the main reason why we refuse to stay silent. Even though it's now February 2026, and nearly half a year has passed since that tragic day, he fell from a building and died on the 11th of September 2025, the memory of it is still as sharp as ever. Even though the authorities declared this case a pure accident long ago, and even went as far as arresting several netizens for allegedly spreading hoaxes, but for all of us, our conscience can't be fooled. The rumors going around strongly suggest he was banned, controlled, and even subjected to extreme treatment for 12 years just because he dared to refuse the hidden rules of the big boss. Throughout those 12 years, he remained such a clean figure. He was incredibly passionate about charity work and regularly helped the underprivileged, even though he couldn't exactly be called wealthy himself. Anyone in this industry who ever worked with him only has good things to say about him.
人性这些东西，没有一个切入对死，在我看来有问题。另外是20个月之后，高就算，智商还这么高，真是文武双全，秀外慧中。马哥哥，我真的不好意思了，第二再发。哎，于朦胧非常的谦卑为反，谢谢什么？是啊，他特别有诚心啊。朦胧呢，他一个很真的一个人。
For the past half year, the authorities have been constantly deleting posts and banning accounts in an attempt to silence the public. But what's the result? The global petition demanding justice for Yu Ming Long has actually surpassed 760,000 signatures. Netizens have even started spreading struggle posters with a moving message. The voice of one person might be small, but the voice of thousands, even millions, will definitely be heard. Every signature that comes in is a statement, a choice to refuse to look the other way. One netizen asked a really piercing question. Yu Ming Long survived in the darkness for 12 long years. We're accompanying him, waiting for the dawn to break, so we can't handle holding on for just a little while longer. Lately, there's one quote that's going super viral on Douyin, and I want to share it specifically for you guys, my friends who are constantly following this case. And I also dedicate this quote to those of you who might be feeling helpless behind your screens right now.
一定要记住，你的目标是穿过沼泽地，而不是对付每一条鳄鱼。人不要着了相，不纠结，不恋战，记住自己的主线任务，这也是对我们未来生活的警示。不是所有仗都值得打，不是所有问题都需要解决。真正的强大在于清晰地知道自己的目的地，并有足够的自律，避开沿途那些虽然张牙舞爪，却与终极目标无关的陷阱。
What is our goal? The answer is truth and justice. The slander and cruelty from these power brokers are truly extraordinary. They don't hesitate to stomp on an actress's dress in public, ban a Best Actress winner, commit people to psychiatric hospitals, or even make A-list stars feel that their lives are in danger. We might not be able to kill every crocodile with our bare hands, but we can band together to drain that swamp, and then let the truth be baked bright and clear under the sun. Regardless of whether you believe this incident is right or wrong, I still hope you can share this video. If you are also worried about Hujae's safety, please share this video, like our show, and leave your voice in the comments section. Because in the end, silence is just another form of complicity. And if you're still watching this, maybe you're looking for the same thing I am.